yesterday, as we know, was the Trans Day of Visibility. I didn't know there were so many invisible trans people, Graham, I'm going to be honest. I've not seen them because they're invisible. But it was Trans Day, just in case we weren't aware that trans people existed, despite having it constantly fucking hammered into us. It was Trans Day of Visibility. And one post caught my attention. It was by a guy called Jesse Thorne. He's quite well known, reasonably well known. And he's the parent of a trans kid. Now that's straight away, that's something that doesn't sit terribly well with me, but he's the parent of a trans kid. And he wants to clarify what it means. His daughter's 9. When she was born, we assumed she was a boy. Gave her a boy name, called her he, but then he grew his hair and he was a bit effeminate, so they decided he was probably wanting a girl. And he says, when she started kindergarten, my wife was bathing her. An adult friend of ours had just come out as trans, and my wife mentioned that not all girls have vaginas, and not all boys have penises. Our daughter asked, some girls have penises. My wife said, yes. Whether you were a boy or a girl wasn't about your private parts. This kid, this child, this baby that just started kindergarten, said, I'm a girl with a penis. There you go. You're a girl. They're now looking at getting that child on Lupron because it's a temporary respite from the horror of puberty. And it's not a temporary respite from fuck all. It's a permanent choice of osteoporosis, cognitive issues, heart issues, liver issues, in fact, immature organ issues. In fact, we're just starting to see the first ones come through on Twitter who are talking about what's happened to them from going on this temporary halt. Because the thing is, we get stuff thrown at us, don't we, about, well, it is temporary. We give it to kids with precocious puberty. So they might get it at 8, but they'll only be on it until it's time for puberty to actually happen. It stops them having it too young, which isn't great either. And they're given a drug that still causes horrific side effects, even when used correctly. Then they take the kids off them and they go into puberty and they carry on as they're supposed to. But there is no evidence of the safety of using them in kids with gender dysphoria, who are already very close to the age of puberty. And then they're supposed to not have a puberty. But it's okay, because when you take them off them at 15, 16, if they decide they're not trans, it's fine. They'll just have a puberty. But nobody told nature this is how it works. Nobody bothered to tell nature. And we're going to reap a shocking, terrible whirlwind. Now, with this guy, I don't believe he's bad or evil or twisted or, it's a pedo thing. I've always wanted to have a young child. I firmly believe Jesse loves his daughter very, very much. I just think he's got it all fucking wrong. And I don't think it's going to do any good. And all I can hope is that his child is one of the ones that escapes the dreadful side effects of Lupron, which was never intended for this purpose. It was it's for cancer treatments and castrating people. That's what it's for. And more little girls as well, little boys going up to puberty, and I can't understand why. So I was having an argument about the vaccine, saying my son probably won't have it, because although I'm pretty sure it's okay, I don't know. And the risks to him from COVID are pretty minor. Well, it's not fair. What about him spreading it? Well, I'm sorry, mate. But compared to my son, fuck the rest of you. Fuck you all. Every last one of you, I would not give my child for you. we don't know enough to be giving it to our kids. As an adult, you can make that choice. You weigh up, don't you? Risk, reward. You weigh it up. But to give it to kids. And this to me is the same. They're gambling. They ignore anything negative and say, well, they're totally reversible. We give them to kids all the time. It's like, yeah, but have you not seen this? I don't believe in that. Fine. But does it not concern you? Wouldn't you rather be sure? I know no medical procedure is 100% safe, but wouldn't you want to be sure if you were going to give the most important person in your life, the most loved person in your life that you will ever know, wouldn't you want to be sure that you really understood what the fuck you were going to give them? Wouldn't you want to know there was another way? What, counselling? Just help until they're older? Acceptance, understanding? But instead we get blackmail that they're all going to kill themselves, despite no statistics backing that whatsoever. And that's something I came across. And also, just before, because Graham's desperate for me to talk to him, the one thing that caught my attention about Trans Day of Visibility, and I tweeted something like this. Imagine two trans folks having a conversation. The first one's like, well, it's Trans Day of Visibility. What should we do? Should we make everyone just understand us a bit better, show how we're part of society, we're here, and we're just trying to be accepted, and we don't want to put anyone else out. We're learning, we're growing, we're here, we love everyone loves us. It's all good. And the other one goes, that sounds really, really good. Or we could just threaten women on Twitter all day and try and get Rosie Duffield kicked out of the Labour Party. Goes back to the first trans person and goes, okay then, because that's all they fucking did on Twitter. What's that actress's name again, Graham? Paulson.
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson, the one that told J.K. Rowling to fuck off and shut up or whatever it was. She's getting dogpiled to fuck now on Twitter. I mean, really, really laid into, because she doesn't want to put her pronouns in her bio. She's now scum. That's the problem, you see, when you keep using the affirmation model. You don't tend to affirm the wrong ones.